95 and 96.1 The Rock Wheelie Big Show continuing on for your Tuesday edition. We are super stoked to be joined on the line today by Joe Satriani and Zizi Satriani, talking about a great thing that's going to be airing tonight on Access called Joe Satriani Beyond the Supernova. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you on the Wheelie Big Show this morning. Thanks so much for taking time with us.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so Joe, first question to you, because Zizi's your son, and he's the director on this project, so he gets like, final approval on everything. So what's that like for you to work with your son on that, Dad? And were you okay giving up that much control?
I had no choice. Yeah, I had no choice. So we worked together a lot, and but he, right from the beginning, I realized that he knew something that I didn't. He was seeing something, a story, and because I was in the middle of it, my head was spinning. So it felt really good to relinquish all control and just say, what do you want to know? Tell me where to go. And plus, I was in the middle of a tour, so I had stuff to do.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I was in that mode, but I'd seen so much of his work growing up. So he started making skateboard films since he was like 9 or 10, I guess. That it never crossed my mind that there was a technical issue that we had to worry about. I knew that whatever he got was going to look amazing. I think it was just, if I had any concern, it was just that I'm not like an actor, and I generally kind of shy, and but all those things I was worried about, I think Zizi saw as part of what was really happening. So, I couldn't have seen it. I mean, he was the only one who could have seen what was really going on.
Now, Zizi, let's ask you, how was it kind of putting everything together and trying to wrap your head around this big project and to get everything in a line so Dad could just go out there and do his thing playing guitar, and then you got to piece it all together?
It was, I don't know, actually. It was pretty nice. There was a lot of work at first, but then I guess since I had so much footage that didn't really, go together, and it was kind of all out of order, I felt pretty comfortable, just taking it all and playing with it and getting to, kind of find the story just by, putting different scenes together and different concerts together and stuff. And then when I approached him, I think it was a lot easier to, kind of collaborate as opposed to just, doing it from the start.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Both of us.
Zizi, tell me, because you guys have collaborated before and you collaborate frequently, what were some of your goals for this project? What did you want? What side of your dad, the incredible musician, did you want to show the world?
I think the big thing starting off was that I just wanted to make it very, strange and kind of jarring, kind of mimic the feeling of being on tour or, just kind of traveling so much and where you are with your headspace and everything. But then later on, I knew when we started working really with the narrative that it had to be something that relating to his new album and the not so much the need for change, but the idea of the need for change and whether or not that's a good thing to hold in the back of your head or a bad thing or how you should approach that.
So, Joe, question for you. Are you just one of those guys that always needs a project? You just come off the G3 tour. You release an album in January. You got this coming out. You're headed overseas to do G3 in Europe as well. And, man, you just keep trucking along and just keep going. You always seem like you got something going. Do you love the fact that you're always moving?
I do. I think I do. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that, 20 or 30 years ago. Maybe I thought it would be a little bit more streamlined, but once I embraced the idea that a creative life was going to be chaotic no matter what, and it was more important for an artist to simply produce work than to worry about what happens to it afterwards. And I think that was a big shift because when I was, a young kid, when I was in my teens, I was very concerned about what happens once you do something. And sometimes that fear can stop you from actually doing anything because you're so concerned about how it gets received or how it gets manipulated in the marketplace, and you're actually not living in the creative moment. So I think with age, came a teeny bit of wisdom that don't worry about it. Just make stuff. Just if you're a musician, then be a musician. If you want to draw or paint, well, then just do it. Don't worry about if it's ever going to be seen, because that's not the essence of your existence. It really is simply to produce art and then walk away and produce more art. And so I didn't. I never thought, looking into it, as you said, that being incredibly busy all the time was the wrong thing. But I certainly grew into it, and boy, when you say it like that, it makes me think I need a vacation.
And I keep a busy schedule, but I'm looking at your schedule. I'm like, man, this guy is everywhere and always moving and always got things going on.
It's so much fun, though. It's hard to say no because it is a lot of fun.
Well, that's good. We hope you always stay busy because that new record, my friend, it is outstanding. And you've got yourself some great musicians involved again. I mean, you being such a virtuoso yourself, and what's it like to work with some of your buddies? What's it like to have Glenn Hughes involved? Chad Smith's involved on the new project. Do you always just find time to collaborate with friends?
It's really hard. To tell you the truth, your question really highlights one funny little thing about the making of the album, What Happens Next, which is it almost didn't happen because just as we were getting off the last leg of the tour, Chad suddenly said, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I can't do it. That Pepper's rescheduled a whole bunch of makeup dates, and I've got to be home for this and that." And all of a sudden, we didn't have him anymore. And I knew in my mind I had to have Glenn and Chad together. So we had to scramble, and we said, well, if we came to L.A., like if we brought the record to you, to where you live, when could you do it? And he said, well, how about 2 weeks from now? So that made me work pretty hard. In other words, I came home from that long tour thinking that, Zizi and I would work on the movie, but it turned out that I had to simply turn around and do this record. So
Jesus.
The record got done really fast in March. We had to do it in a week in L.A., and do some follow-up at Sammy's place in April.
Wow.
And but then it sat sort of in the can. By the first week of May, the record was done, and we had to wait until January 12th to release it. But again, it gave us so much time to work on the film, to bring Beyond the Supernova to the Mill Valley Film Festival, and so there was a good side to that craziness. But yeah, working with Chad and Glenn was so much fun. They are legends. They are crazier than you think. When you get in a room with them, they're so much fun. They're true brothers, and I'd make another record with them in a second.
So Zizi, people seem to be praising it, and you're getting some really good highlights from the fans and from the film festivals and things like that. What's it like to kind of have that justification, I would guess, or that moment where it says, okay, man, I put all my time and effort into this, and people are respecting and enjoying it tremendously.
It feels great. Yeah, it's awesome. It's weird how it's coming out now, and I finished it back in like September, October. So sometimes you forget, like, oh yeah, no one's really seen it yet. But for me, it kind of feels like, I guess no one really cared for that much about it. But it's like, oh yeah, it reminded me recently, like, oh yeah, it's just coming out.
Awesome.
So.
Well, we are really excited to see it. That is for sure. It's going to be awesome. Premieres tonight on Access TV. Joe, I know you guys got to go, but I would catch so much crap with my listeners if I didn't ask you about Chickenfoot. What's next?
I don't think anything is next this week. Or next month, or for the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's the right answer. I love that. I love that you're only thinking 1 week at a time. That's fantastic, man. You keep that busy schedule. You guys are awesome. Thanks for your time this morning, and come back and talk to us anytime, okay?
Thank you so much.